What's going on, guys? Hey, I had a conversation with a fellow prepper, but I seen one of his videos, and he had made some good points that gold and silver in a stuff hit the fan situation will pretty much be useless because if you don't have food and water, someone can come up with a whole 18-wheeler full of gold and silver, and you got a can of corn, and that's your last can of corn. You wouldn't trade that for all the gold in the world because you're not gonna be able to spend it or anything. And a lot of the gold and silver that people have, well, gold and silver at this point are valuable because it's rare and it's a commodity, you know. But it's really not relevant or let's say it doesn't have real life applications. And he mentioned lead, uh, uh, iron, brass would be more useful in a everyday situation because you can make weapons and stuff like that. But one thing I did disagree when he said that copper wouldn't be valuable. But copper is actually one of the most valuable. I think it would be the number one. And to say this, that our whole society is ran on electronics. And copper will be essential for rebuilding the infrastructure. Even the government will be seeking copper. You got the wires. You can't, fix electronics, solar panels, generator systems, any type of electronics will need copper wire and copper parts and stuff like that. So I think copper will be the most valuable metal because it's easy to manage. You can pretty much bend it and hammer it, and it has a low melting point. You can melt it easier than other things. And when it's time to rebuild the infrastructure, even the government will seek out copper. They need copper to run power lines. They need copper for wiring up pretty much the entire civilization. The whole civilization that we in is pretty much maintained by copper because it's cheaper than using gold and silver but the way the trade and all that is, scrap copper is gonna skyrocket. They're gonna need it to fix military circuit boards and wiring up whatever satellites and stuff. Even the penny, a penny will be valuable, more valuable than any other thing because it has copper in it. And that's just my 2 cents. I'm kind of a techie, and I work in electronics a lot. And everything we use has copper wiring. So even in the stuff hit the fan situation, if you want your power grid to work or your generators, plugs and wiring to work, they're gonna need copper. So that's gonna be a big thing, more than gold and silver. Gold and silver don't really have any real life applications. Gold is so hard. It's a good conductor, but it's so hard to get. We don't put gold in wires and stuff. So that's pretty much it, and something to think about, especially with the trade situations and we can't get electronics and stuff like that. A lot of things gonna need to be repaired and fixed, and they're gonna need copper. So if I would say if you're one of those prepper hoarders and you got old TVs and stuff around, just strip the wire off it, roll it up, and put it in the corner, because that's gonna be something that's gonna be really sought after. So, if you agree, comment below. If you don't agree, tell me why. But that's my personal opinion. Gold and silver, nah. You probably have more trade with salt and pepper than gold and silver, because people aren't gonna sit around and eat unseasoned rice for not too long. And you come up with a packet of salt and McDonald's salt and pepper, boy, you the king. So that's my take. So don't worry about buying gold and silver, especially if it's in the stock market. You can't get to it. They have it somewhere, and that's gonna crash, and you're not gonna be able to get it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the metal situation. Thanks.